Right, I'm back again. You won't know that I went, but my as I suspected, my iPad overheated and stopped recording. Luckily there wasn't too much that had that I had lost. So as I was saying, I can definitely provide links for things, but I would always say, do you know what, use what you got. It then becomes less expensive and you feel better actually using some of your supplies. So I'm happy with that positioning, but let's do this one at a time, because as you know, I'm prone to making mistakes, as you know only too well. Right, so, and I know people say there's no such thing as mistakes in crafting. Well, let me tell you, yeah, there is. And sometimes they're whopping great big ones. Right, sorry, I'm going to move you slightly, just in case I'm blocking the microphone. I tried to just film with the air conditioner going. There's no chance. All you can hear in the background is just droning. And we don't want to drone everyone out. Right, so that looks quite pretty. Right, so now I do the turnover. And I just usually drop, and they usually find their way really easily. But if they don't, we tend to, this one might be a little less easy to find its owner, because it's going through another layer of card. Right, so that's that one done. I'm not going to turn it over. Well, I can turn it over. The world's not going to end if it falls apart. So yes, there's that page. Now you may think that I'm actually rushing through this, but it actually doesn't take. Most of these things are the same. I mean, when you look at these, you wouldn't necessarily think, yeah, they're the same, but they are. They're just different patterns. They're just different shapes. But if I can show you something that you maybe hadn't thought of, then that's a day worth having. What I also tend to do, I don't know if I told you in the previous one, was to have one pattern, what I call a pretty pattern. Not that there are any horrible patterns in this, and then have a plainer one. So now these ones, I can't remember what I was going to do with these. That's always interesting when that happens. Don't I? It's always really interesting when I do that. Now might be a good time to, what on earth was I planning to do? I think I was going to leave that as a, that's going to be a pocket. So now to do pockets, I'm not teaching you how to suck eggs in any way, shape or form, but you do need to use double-sided tape, and it does need to be as thin as you can make it. So somewhere here on my craft table is some really thin tape. Right, so I keep lots of different sizes, so that I'm going to use because it will allow more of more of the inserts and pages and whatnot to go in there. So although this is a very, very, very skinny tape, it is also very, very strong. So you want to put it as close as you possibly can to the edge, so that you can get Oh, sticky, and look, I got glue all over me already. So you want it as close to the edge as possible. There you go. Oh, that really is sticky, and I know it's supposed to be, but sometimes it's not that sticky. Perhaps the weather's making it more sticky than usual. Right, so now what you've got to remember is I'm doing all these. I'm yet to decorate these. These are what I call my base pages. They're the ones that I construct, I put them on, and then I decorate them. So let's see if this is going to be easy to come off, or if I'm going to have a battle on my hands. Because some of these, they either come off like a dream, or they come off like a pain in the bottom. And this is a bottom one. So what I will say is you will need to take off that sticky paper, and you will look at my hands, I'm covered in glue and ink. You will try to almost push it slightly so that it gives it a bit of a pocket, because you don't want it dead flat, and when you try to put something in, it won't go in. But you don't need to have it like that either. So it's a happy medium. Right, so, and then that would go over there. That's it. And then that becomes your flap. Now, do I got some of the new colours of Tim, the new Distress inks come through today from Simon Says Stamp, and they got a really lovely one. Is that lovely? I can't remember its name, but I have it everywhere. I have it on my hands, and although it's oxide and you know it reacts with water, seems to have got into some of the crevices of my hands and isn't coming out. So please trust me when I say I'm not dirty. And as you know, I have ridges in my nails, and that holds the dirt in, not dirt, ink in. Right, so I'm going to get half down. Oop, poop. Oh. It's actually difficult to line up on stripes going the other way. So, no, that's, yeah, yep. And just, that's it. So, simple one. Now I am going to put the magnet, actually I'm going to put this magnet slightly higher. Oh, it's a bit dramatic. And I will cover that up with some pretty paper, and I shall now glue that down. Now, I'm really not rushing through this, but I am so very aware that this can take up so much time to do that it becomes a bit of a vigil for you all. So I do try. Isn't it a crime to cover up some of these pages? They should make an ugly side. So I'm going to let it find its mate. Just pop some glue down there, and that is as simple as that gets. So that is the plain one, and like I say, I will cover these with paper. I'm just showing you the main construction. So now I have done one set and two sets. Now I wonder if that might be a good place to stop. We'll have a look. We'll attach these. So I am going to now bring back the trusty album. I didn't need to show you how to do these. It literally is a piece of card with but if you would like to see it, or you find it a bit confusing, I can always do a quick pop on and do that for you, but it is so basic. Right, now this is something I hate doing, loading up paper with glue, but this is such a heavy card front that I would worry. I mean, it seems criminal. I probably have used that much in all the time I've had it. Right, so this is going to be slightly awkward, she says. Now, by the look of it, oh, that looks like that might be slightly long, but that's okay because we can trim that down. It's very minimal, but a good old trusty knife. And yes, I can be trusted. Sometimes I can be very, very careful. Sometimes. Right, now this one is then going to sit in there. So I need to get in my head where that needs to line up to and make sure it fits without obstructing that movement, and it looks good. Right, so this one isn't so heavy, so you don't need to use the whole glue pot, but do make sure you get glued right to the edges, because you don't want those peeling, because they will be the first place to peel. And there's nothing nastier, well, except for a spider bite, than your edges coming undone. Right, so you are going to flip this and always marry up, if you can, to the top, because I tested it out on the bottom so I could see that that was okay. So we measure it to the top. There. So there are our first 2 pages. That one comes off and goes back on. I must cover those up, but like I say, I'm only doing the base levels. The other ones shall be decorated, and I'll probably do that in one go with you, or maybe a couple of goes. Right, so now I am going to pop that one. As I've told you before, if you use lots of colours of what you are, you know, like if you're going for pink and you haven't got a lot of something, mix the shades of pink so that you can always use, you don't have to go out and buy more. Oh, this is criminal, covering up Bambi. Bambi, your sacrifice, it's worth it in the long run. Right, so we are going to pop that one there, and because I'm using glue, I've got sticky fingers that I don't want to get stuck to the paper. Right, and then this one, which is my fancy pants one, I really love this. I just love it. It's because it's different. Now this one you're going to have to load up, because not only is it heavy cardstock, but I've got multiple layers on those octagons, and I'm sure if I've got those the wrong way round, someone will tell me. Of that I can be sure. We have a very knowledgeable base of people in our crafting world and in many walks of life. So we will now take that out before that gets stuck. Right, so I want that to go to as far up to the top, which it has, and I'm just going to spend a moment just making sure that's stuck all the way round, and it has, which is good. Do you know, I love it when we get to this stage, because when you've just got the bare bones of it, you just think, oh, it looks horrible. See what looks horrible, my finger's all glued up. Right, so, and there is page, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, did I say I was going to stick with those or carry on? I suppose that depends on the temperature of this iPad. It's so hot in here. How people live in hot countries, and whew, my hat's off to you people. Mind you, I suppose if you've been born there, that's all you know. But hooey, in Guildford in England, we're not used to this. Right, so I'm going to put this to one side